Flex Reads. So in today's video, we are going to be doing my February wrap up, which February always goes by so fast. But in the month of February, y'all, okay, it was the opposite from last month. So if you guys watch my wrap up from last month in January, which I'll put down below, I think I read like 13 books or something like that. The month of February, I read 4 books and I watched 10 movies. So it literally was the opposite, but I really enjoyed the month of February, and I always say I don't care about the quantity of books I read, I care about the quality. The month of February, I did read some great quality books. So before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. First book I read was Lyric. This is the 3rd book in the Eisenberg series. Currently, I'm on Lake right now. That's not the last book, because I think there's after Lake, there's their parents' book or something like that, which I'm really excited about that one because a lot of people say that one is a mess, okay? And y'all know, love that. And hers, Lyric kind of got on my nerves. I gave it a 3-star. And I think the reason why is it was just that back and forth with her and Ken. I'm like, girl, you've been knowing him forever. I understand that's your, brother's best friend or whatever. It's one of those tropes where they've known each other forever and, she's afraid that her brothers are going to feel some type of way because she's liking and started seeing their best friend since they've been like kids. But it was just that oh, I really do like you, but I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm scared that my people are gonna find out and all this sneaking around, and then you got another guy that you seeing but you don't really like him, but you playing the game. And oh girl, that Lyric got on my nerves. She honestly did. So far out of the series, which again I'm not done, but the first one was my favorite so far, which was Luca. But overall, I really am liking the series. I'm going to continue to read this series. I'm also going to continue to read more of Grey Huffington because she kind of gives me the vibe of Alexandria House. Yeah, I will continue to read this series. Next, I read our book club pick, which was The Secret Lives of Church Ladies. I really enjoyed that. We had such a great discussion. This was the first time I checked out a library book in, oh Lord, years. Because I did get some library cards. I'm tempted to get it because I really did like the collection. I saw on her Instagram she has another book that's coming out, The Confessions of a First Lady or something like that. So I don't know if it's a novel or a short story, but I don't care what it is, I will be getting it. Next, I read one of my anticipated reads for this year, and it was Harlem Rhapsody by Victoria Christopher Murray. I really enjoyed this. I did a reading blog. I also put it down below. This is a great book. It honestly is. If you want to learn more clearly about Jessie Redmond Fawcett, if you want to learn more about the Harlem Renaissance, I would say really pick this up, because if it wasn't for Jessie, a lot of the authors from that time we wouldn't have known. She's the one that published Langston Hughes when he was in high school. This had drama and tea, because y'all know the little situation with her and W.E. Du Bois. This, I would highly recommend it. And then lastly, because I read Harlem Rhapsody, I wanted to read Jessie Redmond Fawcett's debut novel, because in Harlem Rhapsody, she really does emphasize that novel a lot, because they say that's kind of inspired by her relationship with W.E. Du Bois. And so I did finally read There Is Confusion, and I have one more book of Jessie's to read, and her writing, love it. Joanna in this book, Joanna got on my nerves. Again, I understand Joanna's determination. I understand her drive. I think you should have that, especially as a Black person during that time where we get held back because of our race. That loved, but it was she had a spitefulness. She was real bougie. Every time she came on the page, I always thought of Regina George from Mean Girls. She gave you that vibe, okay? And when she sent that letter to Maggie, why did you do that? She almost ruined that situation, okay? If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, she ruined that situation, basically. It was able to come back, right. One thing I do love about this book is the ending. It's not a tragic book. It's not at all. You're more than satisfied. Okay, so that is it for the books. Now let's go to the movies. I watch a lot of movies in the month of February. One thing I wanted to do was watch movies that I had never seen before, and I did succeed with that. First, I watched a movie. Oh, y'all, this movie. It's called Albert Nobbs, and it's actually based on a based on a novella. It is starring Glenn Close, and Glenn Close. It's set in Scotland, and you have a man named Albert Nobbs. He is a butler. They work in a hotel. Everybody know Albert does his job. If you want things done right, you go to Albert, right? But he's a very quiet man, stays to himself, and he wants to open his own, is it like a cigar shop or something like that? And but he's realizes he needs a wife. He's, you know, lonely. He tries to see that with one of the like maids that, you know, also works at the hotel. I was not expecting what happened to happen, and like I said, I liked it so much I ended up buying the book. I mean, Glenn Close, y'all know Glenn Close can act, okay? This woman just fantastic. This story, I would highly recommend you guys watch the movie. It was so good, and I've been wanting to see this movie, but I didn't want to pay for it, so I went to the library and I checked it out on DVD and really did enjoy it. I do think I might buy it, but at the same time I'm like, this is not a story that or a movie that I would want to watch over and over again. So now that I'm talking about it, no, you don't need that, because yeah, it's kind of like a one and done. I don't need to watch it anymore. I do want to read, you know, the novella, but yeah, it's a very sad movie. It is sad. Hey, next, y'all, this is way out of my comfort zone. I watched a movie called Blink Twice. It's starring Channing Tatum, and it was actually directed by Zoe Kravitz. I think this was her debut directorial, and it's on Amazon. And the reason why I watched it, one of my coworkers, I remember I was coming into work, and she was like, "This movie, oh my goodness, it's so good." Da da da. And the way that she was talking about it, she really did, you know, she really did sell me. And I remember I did see a trailer of that. From watching, I was like, "Yeah, this ain't for me." Because it's a psychological. Is it a thriller? Oh, girl. So you have this man, Channing's character. He is a millionaire or a billionaire, and he goes to he has this like private island, and one day he meets this girl, and he just says to her and her friend, "Oh, you want to go on this island with me? You know, you want to go on vacation?" Not knowing the man at all, just know of him and what he's accomplished. But her and her friend go, and the stuff that happens on this island, it's yeah, I don't want to give it away, because again, if I give it away, I'll tell the whole story. It's just, I would say, do not go on vacation with people that you don't know. I don't care who they are, okay? I don't care who they are. If they Barack Obama, I don't know Barack Obama like that, so I'm sorry, President, we're not going together. That one was a trip. That's a one and done. I don't need to see it again. Yeah. Next is Harlem Nights. Now, I have seen this before. I wanted to watch Harlem Nights because after reading Harlem Rhapsody, I was still stuck in that era. And this is starring Eddie Murphy, who is all the comedian giants, y'all. Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Red Fox, Della Reese. And this is set obviously during Harlem in like the 1920s and 30s, and you have a club owner named Sugar Ray. He ends up adopting Eddie Murphy's character when he's like a little boy, and they're running this, you know, club. Basically, they're kind of like in competition with some like Italian club owners, and they realize like everyone wants to go to Sugar Ray's, and not a lot of people want to go to their club. And the Italian guy's like, I don't like this. Also, Jasmine Guy's in this too. She's like the love interest. And so they basically try to take, you know, Sugar Ray and his club down. Y'all, please, if you guys haven't watched it, please watch it. This is old. This is from like 1989 or something like that. But it's so funny. It keeps you on your toes. This is a movie where I can watch over and over and over again. Love this movie. So yes, watch that. Next, I watched Self-Made, the story about Madam C.J. Walker. This is the first time I ever watched it. I remember when that came on in 2020. For some reason, I was not interested in watching that. And that was back during the pandemic. I remember my sister, she watched it. She's like, it's really, really good. And again, for Black History Month, I said I want to watch something that I had never watched. And I just knew bits and pieces of Madam C.J. Walker. I didn't know, that much. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Octavia Spencer did a fantastic job. I mean, come on now. Everyone in that movie did such a great job. I did not know the situation with her and her husband. Also, other entrepreneur, and I forgot her last name, but I didn't know her little situation, her story. This is such a great limited series. It's one that I will watch again. Next, I watched an old Hollywood movie called An Affair to Remember by Cary Grant and Deborah Kerr. I actually own this movie. When I was in my 20s, I went through oh Lord, it was a huge phase of old Hollywood films. I've seen so many. It's like ridiculous. And I would say Cary Grant's probably my favorite male actor during, the old Hollywood era. I love his movies so much. I thought that it was on, was it Netflix because, was it Netflix? Netflix or Hulu because of Valentine's Day. Because it's a love story, even though it's kind of sad what happens, but it's a happily ever after. You have these two people, they are both engaged to other people. They meet on a boat and they just start talking. And they realize we really do like each other. They try to go their separate ways, but then they, come back together and something tragic happens to the girl, Deborah Kerr's character. And yeah, if you are into old Hollywood movies, I would recommend this. An Affair to Remember was a huge deal when it came out in 1957. Next is another movie I had never saw, which was Harriet, starring Cynthia Erivo. Y'all, this was so good. This is another story where, of course, we know Harriet Tubman. We know what she contributed to, the Underground Railroad, all of that. But I didn't know, her story growing up, and they really did talk about that. And I didn't know that she had been married twice. I did not know about just the way she grew up. And yeah, that woman, amazing. And the fact that she kept on, I remember when I was watching, I'm like, girl, every time you make it to the north, you like, okay, I gotta get somebody else, and you go back to the south. And the way that the movie is, they make it seem like she's going, across town, and it's like, girl, the way she had to get back from the south to the north, I mean, that was boat rides, and y'all know how long that took. But I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It is a one and done. I don't need to see it again, but I would have to say, I thought that it was going to be a little bit more gruesome because, with slave narratives, brutality, that's just in it, right? But it honestly was not. Next, another movie that I have not seen, and it was called The Soloist, and it's starring Jamie Foxx and what's that guy's name? Robert Downey Jr. Now, I do remember when this came out, and I remember I saw it, but you know how you watch a movie and you're doing something at the same time, so you're really not paying attention? That's what I did. This movie, y'all, first of all, it's a true story. The character that Jamie Foxx played, that man, Nathaniel Ayers, he's a real life man, still alive to this day. He was a child prodigy. And he played, I believe, was it the violin, the cello? He taught himself how to play the trumpet. And he gets a full scholarship to Juilliard. The second year, he ends up having a mental breakdown, and they discover that he is diagnosed with paranoia schizophrenia, and he just ends up living on the street. And one day you have Robert Downey Jr. He is a reporter and editor, and he's looking for a good story. He comes and he sees this man, and he's just playing, his violin, not asking for anything, not asking for no money. And he starts talking to him, and if you've seen the movie, Nathaniel, he just talks a mile a minute. His mind is just a mile a minute. He talk about Beethoven, then he talk about, something in sports, and he talk about, his family, then it just goes like that. And so he's like really interested, like how this man that, went to Juilliard, full scholarship, a prodigy, how is he homeless in, California? And you see how it goes. This was so good, you guys. And after I watched the movie, I ended up going on YouTube seeing if they had like the real life people, and they do. They have Nathaniel talking, they have him playing. And again, like I said, he still is alive. He now they do have a home for him. He's in like a shelter, so he's not living on the streets. They do allow him to play his instruments. And I just loved every minute of this movie, and the fact that it was about a real life man. Just, it blew my mind. But yeah, really good story. Next, I Think I Love My Wife. I watch this with my sister. Currently, my sister's obsessed with Gina Torres. And I had seen this movie, owned this movie, because I really like Kerry Washington. And this movie is just, it's a hoot, okay? You have Chris Rock. He's married. His life is very boring. Been married for 7 years, has 2 kids. His wife, they're not intimate. They just go to work. They regular little married couple. In comes a friend that he knew from college named Nikki, played by Kerry Washington, and she just does stuff just to do it, okay? And she kind of interrupts his life, almost messes up his situation, and you just see how it goes. It is such a funny movie. The ending though, when they start singing, that just got me. Chris Rock, he a fool. But yeah, really enjoyed this movie. Next, I watched a series. It's called To Walk Invisible. It's about the Bronte sisters. I've been wanting to watch this, and it was only available on BritPop, and I'm like, I don't need another subscription at all. I'm not getting another subscription. And finally, I saw it was on Amazon Prime, and I watched it and really enjoyed it. It's a 2-part series, and it's about the Bronte sisters, and it starts off like they're older now, and it's the 3 girls. It's Charlotte, it's Emily, and Anne, and then they have a brother, Bronwell, which that father really did stifle him. He didn't have a chance. You would think, where the father would have kept the 3 girls at home and kind of let the man do what he's supposed to do, go out, get a job, get educated and all that. He kept that boy in the house. He was like, I only want to, tutor myself. And he really did enable him. And if you know about, Bronwell's situation, he became an alcoholic. He also got addicted to drugs. He didn't get married. He messed around with his employer's wife. He just did up some stuff. Clearly, we know the Bronte sisters. Later on, they end up becoming, literary greats. You see too the dynamic with the sisters. Like, I did not know Charlotte. Emily Bronte. She didn't want to get her works published. She was like, I just want to, write for myself. And one day, Charlotte, it says true story, Charlotte went into her room and was rummaging through her stuff and got some of her poems and published them without her knowledge. But it was a blessing in disguise, because they praised the poems, and then she also got compensated for it, which I do understand. I told you I didn't want to get published. You went into my stuff, to my room, and took my poems. But like I said, it was a blessing in disguise. And then she realized, okay, maybe this writing thing will work. And they all wrote, all became successful. Charlotte is the most successful, then it's Emily, then it's Anne. But this was really good. If you do want to, learn more about the Bronte sisters, I would say. Also, it wasn't laborious, because again, some of them some of those period pieces can be like, come on, y'all. It wasn't like that. Lastly, I watched Passing again because of Harlem Rhapsody. The book is fantastic. The movie was good. Only con was actresses. The actresses could act, okay? They did not memorize their lines. But them women look black. And again, them trying to do black and white still. When you watch the movie, them women they look black. You know what I mean? Like, them trying to pass, that would have never happened, okay? And, but I still really did enjoy the film. I like the fact that they stuck to the book. So yeah, I really did enjoy that, and I will probably watch that again. Okay, so that is it for the movies. Again, I watched a lot of movies this month. Now for music, I only focused on just 2 records. So the first, I got this Crazy Sexy Cool by TLC. Target has like an exclusive release for Crazy Sexy Cool to get it, because this is probably one of my favorite albums by TLC. And I just, isn't this so pretty? And then look at the back. Lisa has always been my favorite, and probably next is Chili. And then next went old school. Got George Benson, Give Me the Night, of course. Love that song. And I did not know that, look, I'm real old school, y'all, but the singer Patty Austin, I didn't know that she was singing backgrounds on that. I was watching a clip on TikTok and they were talking about this album, and I was like, oh my goodness, and I only paid $8 for it. I do want to go back and get Roberta Flack. You guys know that she just passed, so they have the first album. Probably next week payday, I will go and get that. And also, I was so devastated when I heard about Angie Stone. Oh my gosh. Oh, I grew up listening to Angie Stone. I remember when her first solo album came up back in 2001. I used to love the video Brother. And then I'm also a huge fan of hers because I like her stuff when she came out with Sequence in 1979. What's the song? We gonna funk you right on up. We gonna funk you right on up. That was my tune, okay? Y'all know I'm old school. But I was just so sad to hear about that. My prayers are with her and her family, her daughter and her son. I will be listening to Miss Angie Stone. I wonder, do they have her on vinyl? And then the fact too that she did the theme song for Girlfriends. Just was a win-win. But yeah, guys, that is it when it comes to this video. I am rambling. As y'all saw, I watched a lot of things. So yeah, guys, that is it. And I'll be back with more Black Books. Bye.